I'm Pikta, nice to meet ya, and since July is only a month away, today I'm preparing for Art Fight. Many of you watching may already be familiar with Art Fight, but in case you are curious or want a brief explanation, Art Fight is an annual art trading competition where artists decide between two teams and obtain points by gifting art of their opponents or teammates' OCs to each other. It's a good-spirited and generous way to celebrate the creativity in the art community and possibly even be gifted art of your characters. If you're looking forward to possibly receive art of your characters or help others gather targets for their attacks this year, now is a perfect time to start preparing. This can be by refreshing or setting up your profile, gathering bookmarks of characters you'd like to draw, or most importantly, creating reference sheets of your characters so others can have a comprehensive guide to ensure any art you receive is accurate. So that's why I'm going to be working on some of my character sheets for this year, as well as drawing a full lineup of my characters together. First, I'm going to be updating a character I already have posted on Art. This is my character Oxar, and since I've had this group of characters for a while, let's just say her reference sheet hasn't exactly been accurate for some time. For me, I already know what she's supposed to look like, so I haven't rushed to update the reference sheet, but it's pretty outdated and incredibly inaccurate, so I figured I should get to it now. Some of the blaring differences are, of course, my art style, but her body type, and dear god, she used to be so pasty. Yeah, I'm glad I finally updated this. It's actually one of my art goals for 2026 to draw reference sheets for all of my Calypso characters. Believe it or not, my characters Zipporah and Matthew don't even have an outdated one I've drawn. For my characters' reference sheets, I like to draw blank bases of their bodies, so that way I can add clothes or hairstyles on different layers, so they're more customizable and I can change anything if I need. For my Considering Calypso characters, I like to separate their outfits in terms of the timeline of the story, so on the left is closer to when they're introduced to the story, the middle I refer to as their main outfits, and the right side is what they look like towards the end. While the speed paint wraps up, allow me to tell you a little bit about Oxar in case she looks interesting to you and you might want to draw her this year. Oxar is from a very warm climate, and she actually has a higher internal body heat than the rest of the main characters. Oxar does not have a traditional first and last name, and rather, individuals where she is from use the last two letters to indicate family or relation to one another. So for Oxar, it's AR. Oxar is incredibly confident, and while I would love to be friends with her, characters who are more stoic and like to take life a little bit more seriously may not find her as amusing, which leads to some conflict between her and someone else in the cast, cough Matthew, cough Willow. She unfortunately is also facing the reality of feeling out of place and homesick because unlike everyone else, she's the only one in the main group who actually doesn't want to be in Calypso. But she's definitely making the most out of it while she's there. Here's Oxar's finished reference sheet. Moving on, I'm going to be working on another reference sheet, this time for my character Zipporah. This one looks a little different because I actually had made her base a while back and never finished doing all of her designs, but the original file of the base is gone because my iPad broke shortly after I made it, although I did manage to save the PNG as an empty base, so you're just gonna have to watch me design the clothes without the speed paint of me making it. This is a straightforward process for all of my characters because they're already designed, and most of what I'm doing is making them more accurate or simplifying certain elements of their design. Now allow me to tell you a little bit about Zipporah. Zipporah is from a kingdom called Vista, and she's actually a princess. Due to a certain and very bad event that I will not say because it's quite the spoiler, she gains both the scar on her eye and the need to run away from her kingdom, which she does with her childhood friend, Beezy. Beezy and Zipporah are my favorite pairing in the entire story, so if you're seeing this right now, they're both posted on ArtFi, and I would love to see them together so bad. And if you draw ship art, their pairing name is Fairy Magic. Please, 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 please. Okay, back to telling you about her. Zipporah is very reserved and anxious in nature, but Oxar and Beezy help her to relax and lighten up when she needs it. Unfortunately, much of her anxiety is valid because she is pretty much at risk of danger the entire story. Zipporah, through her time at Calypso, is also learning something possibly magical about herself. Ooh, breadcrumbs of lore. Sorry I'm not completely info-dumping about these characters. If we ever publish media of them, I don't want their entire story archived already on my YouTube channel. Here is Zipporah's reference sheet. Okay, lastly, I'm doing something that needed to be done for quite a while now. I would say my co-writer and I have been working on this story for about 5 years now, which is quite a long time to not have all the reference sheets completed and not have a lineup of the characters. But it's okay, because I'm being a responsible artist now, and getting that done for a silly art event with no other reward than a hurt wrist, and to possibly lose for the 3rd year in a row. Yeah, this is my 3rd time competing, and I was on Team Seafoam and Fossil, and we lost. So starting off, I worked on sketching poses of all the characters and positions that I thought showed off their personalities well. And then I made sure they all matched the correct height differences they have in the story. Then I went through the painstaking task of lining and rendering all the characters. It's times like these I regret having 6 main characters in the story. And first is Beezy. Beezy is currently posted on my art fight, and her reference sheet is a little outdated. I would want her main outfit to look more like she does in this lineup, but I do plan on editing some of the characters' ref sheets later in the month. So by art fight, she will probably be up to date. And then I drew Zipporah, which you have learned a bit about today. The leg position was actually the worst thing I had to draw. I don't know why it was giving me so much trouble. It was one of those poses where you have to get up and take a picture of yourself, and then you have this busted, awkward, chopped picture of yourself in your camera roll after. So thanks, Zip. Also, for these drawings, I didn't render them as much as I would some other art because frankly, there's already so much character going on and I don't need or want to do all of that. Next, I did Oxar, which you have also already learned a bit about today in this video. One thing I like about this drawing is her holding one of her horns. I've actually never drawn her doing that before, but I think it's kind of cool. Also, for some reason, she was the easiest to sketch. Like, I blinked and I drew her perfectly on the canvas, so that was pretty cool. Thanks, Oxar. Now we're moving on to a character I have yet to reference, and this is Willow. If you watched my art fight video from last year, I did her reference sheet then. One minor difference is in her shoes, which I will hopefully get updated on her reference sheet by July. Willow is already posted on art fight, so if she looks enticing to you, then go ahead and bookmark her. Willow is quite shy, but she's not as reserved, if that makes any sense. She's very personable and a lot less anxious than Zipporah, but she's pretty quiet. She lives with Matthew, who you will learn about very soon, and is close friends with Asher. However, she has some pretty bad blood with Oxar, Zipporah, and Beezy. She's from a small town and enjoys baking and gardening. Next up is Asher. Asher is a freaking cool dude. He's incredibly sly and snarky, but also incredibly charismatic. I actually love Asher so much. He has some of the best and worst moments in the story. It's quite funny. I would separate the main 6 into 2 groups, that being Willow, Asher, and Matthew, and then Zip, Oxar, and Beezy. And while Asher's group are more self-centered in their goals and actions, the other group are all about teamwork, and these different views of friendship both help and hurt their own groups. Whoa, holy yap central, let's move on. This is Matthew. He's actually inheriting the mountain area of Calypso because he's a little nepo baby. He's genuinely so awful and is the definition of that type of white man. But also, he's under incredible stress and heavy expectations from his dad, so I guess he is kind of understandable. Yeah, he has daddy issues. Who wants to wife or husband him up now? Asher and Willow, low-key, both of them. Also, both Asher and Matthew are not currently on my art fight, but my goal is to have them posted by July. Alright, here's the final lineup. Geez, that took a while. Let me know if any of my characters seem interesting or perhaps drawable. I make a lot of art of these guys, so chances are if you do like them, you'll also like my other videos and art I have posted of and about them. Are you planning to partake in Art Fight this year? If so, please comment your Art Fight usernames so I can browse and bookmark some more characters to target this year. Also, would you guys possibly be interested in a part 2 of this video where I complete Asher and Matthew's ref sheets and update the other characters? If so, let me know. As a reminder, videos like these do take a long time to make, so if you enjoyed this video, you can show me some gratitude by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Thanks so much for watching. I've been Pictorica. Hope to see ya another day.